Hi doctor, so this is anything to do with oxygen and breathing. I'm very interested. So I just wanted to know, how will this help people who use their voice a lot? I use my voice a lot when I speak and when I sing. So how is this beneficial for people like me?
So one of the things hyperbaric chamber is very good at is it will actually remove the swelling, and again any part of the body which is actually stretched or actually stressed a lot, there will be some amount of swelling. And the vocal cords, as you know, for singers actually is very vital, and there may be some amount of swelling in the vocal cords after you sing, especially after rehearsing and all that. And you may be aware that there may be what is called a vocal cord nodules, which happens in singers, and the swelling will actually be controlled with hyperbaric oxygen.
When I practice a lot, when I practice classical music, I notice that I feel as if the insides of my nose have swelled. Do you think this might help me to deal with that?
No, see, if your sinuses are normal, you have no blockage of the sinuses and there's no inflammation, then the hyperbaric oxygen will actually make sure that the sinuses swelling will be dropped. It will actually improve. But if you have a sinus problem, then that has to be corrected. But you do expect the singing happens not only from your vocal cords, but actually starts from the lung. The breath of air, what is called the violent breath of air which comes out, it actually comes out and hits the vocal cords, which actually vibrate and then produce a sound. But another part of the sound is actually modulated by the nasal sinuses. So the amplification and modulation of the sound happens because of the facial bones, which are specially maced as hollow structures. And as the sound comes out of the nose and the mouth, the hollow structures also vibrate, and they are lined with a membrane called the mucous membrane, and the mucous membrane also will be stressed because of the air intake, and because there will be a lot of modulation when you're singing, especially when you're taking a breath in, the nose will be involved, and when you're exhaling, the vocal cords, the throat will be involved. So definitely there will be amount of stress and edema. The swelling can definitely be controlled with the hyperbaric oxygen.
For those who are into strenuous physical activity, or those who are into serious body training, weight training, and working out, would this also benefit those people?
Right. See, as I said, two things happen. Whenever you are doing strenuous exercises, mobility happens at all the joints and ligaments, and there will be a lot of wear and tear. And hyperbaric oxygen will help you to repair these tissues, especially in the joints. Weightlifters, the muscles, the ligaments, the joints are actually stretched to the limits. And therefore, whatever wear and tear will be quickly repaired. So that extra oxygen will actually help. So we do ask people who go for, let's say, this Ayurvedic massages, weightlifting, gym, workouts, to have hyperbaric oxygen, which will improve their wellness in generally. So you are actually going there to improve your oxygenation and also the wellness of the body. Hyperbaric oxygen has been well known to improve the general well-being of the person. So that is probably because whatever you do, there will be what is called a repair process. There will be some amount of degeneration, and that degeneration has to be regenerated. And the most important factor, in addition to everything else, is the oxygenation of this. So that is why you will find that it is not only the weightlifting, but also the breathing which you are taught, and especially so in yoga, where it's not just the asanas you do, but is more important is the breathing. So these will actually, the hyperbaric oxygen will actually augment. It will actually help. It will not replace, but definitely it will help to improve the regeneration of all the cells.
Doctor, are there people who cannot take this oxygen therapy in the hyperbaric oxygen chamber?
If you breathe oxygen, you can actually take hyperbaric oxygen. But as you said, rightly pointed out, there are certain situations where this cannot be done at all. And the two things which come to my mind immediately is, one, any condition which affects the lung. So there are certain conditions which are absolute contraindications, which means they cannot go into the hyperbaric chamber. So, as I said, you are actually breathing oxygen under pressure.
Okay.
So what happens is the lung alveoli, which actually receive the oxygen, they are very friable structures, and if there is any disease of the alveoli, then it is a danger for these people to go into hyperbaric oxygen. So one thing which comes to mind is, in medical term, it is called emphysema. So people who have been smoking for a long time, the lungs actually gets destroyed, and the alveoli become very weak. So in these patients, we have to be very, very careful. If they have large alveoli which are very friable, hyperbaric oxygen can rupture them. Okay. And if it ruptures, they can produce a medical emergency. So that is one possibility. The other thing again is chronic smokers. A lot of smokers, because the carbon dioxide which builds up in the body is so high that the carbon dioxide drives the breathing. Wow. So in these people, if you give them extra oxygen, the carbon dioxide drive will be lost. So the breathing actually can become worse. So these are two absolutely contraindications. So every person who comes will be checked with chest X-ray to make sure that they don't have this, and we'll do a basic physical examination to make sure that he doesn't have a lung problem. So that is one. Second thing is, as again said, anything which concerns the lungs, there are certain drugs which actually affect the lung. One of the drug is called bleomycin, which is an absolute contraindication, because that causes a lot of fibrosis in the lung, and anything which causes this sort of a lung problem will be a contraindication. Apart from that, practically there is no other contraindications. The other things could be relative, what we call as relative contraindication is when the patient's heart is not pumping very well, when the patient had a very severe heart attack. Again, they are not completely no, but we evaluate them to find out if they are fit enough to go inside.
Right. So people who have pacemakers can still,
yes,
they can still,
they can very comfortably go in.
Oh, okay.
No problem.
So this is a really strange question. Does this also help people who might be dealing with mental health issues, or maybe even children with learning disabilities? Is there any study, or is there any proof so far that it's helped such people?
See, the one of the indication is to improve the psychological function also. Oh, okay. But this again, as I said, we are not very sure about bipolar conditions, but we can very confidently say that children with autism, okay, we had tremendous improvement with these people. We had children who have been extremely violent, and children actually go inside the chamber with the mother, and they have to sit in there for the same amount of time, 1 hour, and we found that the child becomes much calmer and much more focused, and the parents are very happy that these children are actually much better. So it's been well proven that autism is an excellent indication for hyperbaric oxygen. Okay. In fact, we have people coming from other states and sometimes even from the United States, because it's cheaper here, to have large sessions. And autism definitely is a very good indication for hyperbaric oxygen. Cerebral palsy, autism. But as what you said about psychiatric conditions, bipolar conditions, I am not very sure. We have never had an experience. But they are not direct indicators. Is this therapy safe for pregnant women, and would you suggest that they can have it while they are going through pregnancy? No, that way, see, we don't actually recommend this for pregnancy. Oh. But if there is any condition where the oxygenation is impaired, then we can consider.
Oh, I see. So you would actually say that it's better pregnant women don't go into the hyperbaric?
There is really no indication for pregnant women to go into this chamber.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Cool. Thank you.